Happy New Year, everybody, and here's a special New Year's Day edition of the Motorsport Gourmet. Today is special. You'll see I'm wearing a plain t-shirt today. I got a request, and the request came from one of my dearest old friends, Charlotte from wirewheel.com. If you're looking for classic British sports or racing cars, wirewheel.com. I'll put a link to their site later on. Charlotte requested mac and cheese recipe. Funny thing was we were discussing what has been the biggest increase in purchases over the year of COVID. And the funny thing was mac and cheese and popcorn came out above toilet paper and household goods as the #1 increase in products purchased at the store, which got us to talking about, wow, if everyone's so crazy, mac and cheese is the #1 thing people have bought this year, why not do a recipe for mac and cheese? So, we will not be making this horrible stuff. This is what you can buy for $2 in the grocery store, and is what most kids might make for themselves for dinner. Do you want to be eating this horrible stuff? Yeah. Here's what we're going to do with this. Straight in the trash. So we're going to make some really great mac and cheese, which you can make inexpensively and easily. And it's a dish that if you're a college kid in your dorm and want something to make, this is easy and inexpensive. You can feed several people. It can last for several days even if you cook it and you can reheat it. So today we're going to be using, look at these lovely ingredients. I've got here 3 different cheeses. So what we have here today is some Parmesan, which is a great bringer together of cheesy flavors, some smoked Gouda, and some Manchego. We're going to use some fresh from my garden basil in a topping, and we're going to use some breadcrumbs, some Worcester sauce, a little bit of sea salt, my old favorite, the English mustard, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and of course some pasta. I'm using gluten-free pasta and gluten-free breadcrumbs, but no matter, that's just personal choice because Shaun likes gluten-free. Ow, there's one secret ingredient. Bacon. Bacon mac and cheese. This kicks it up to another level. So we're going to griddle some bacon, cook some pasta, and make some cheese sauce. Okay? First thing we're going to do is get our bacon going. I've got an oven which is preheating to 400 degrees. Now bacon, of course, is a thing of choice like many things. You can have yours a little less crispy. I like it crispy. We're going to pop it in the oven and save a few streaks of bacon for the topping. We're going to use some of the fat from the bacon to also make our cheese sauce. Wait for that. That's going to be awesome. We have our pasta. This is going to make enough for like 6 people. This is a whole box pasta this size, okay? And it's going to be cooked in a dish of this size. Now, you can adjust, of course, your portions. You could do half this and make a much smaller pan. But as always, I'm feeding a bunch of people. So, boiling water, salted boiling water, in that goes. Make sure you stir it a little bit just to stop it from sticking together. We're going to cook this pasta for about 5 minutes only because it'll be very al dente, but it's going to finish in the oven when it bakes with the cheese, okay? This pasta has been boiling for about 5 minutes. We're going to put it through a colander, back in the pot. It can stay there for a few minutes. If it cools down, it's okay because it's going in the oven to bake in a few minutes anyway, so just don't overcook your pasta. We're going to go ahead and grate some cheese while the bacon's cooking and the water is about done. I have 3 cheeses. You may just opt to get a packet of shredded cheddar out of the grocery store or whatever you like, whether it's 4-cheese Mexican, whatever you like to use. Certainly it's easier. It may not taste quite as good as using a combination of fresh cheeses. Certainly it'll be less expensive. But because we're doing a nice recipe today, we're going to use some good cheese. So we're going to cut off a nice chunk of smoked Gouda and start to grate this. We don't want the skin. Because this is a softish cheese, we will use the large grater. This is our smoked Gouda. I've got a bigger bowl. So we'll pop this in here and grate some manchego. Another wedge of that. Make sure you mind your fingers on your grater if you're grating your own cheese. So that's the manchego. That goes in there too. Next we'll start with the Parmesan. There's about 4 cups of cheese there. If you like it cheesy, use a lot of cheese. If you want it less cheesy, use less cheese. Whatever you like. Not rocket science. Bacon's done. Nice and crispy. Now, you might opt to do yours on a skillet on the cooktop, however you like. I like doing it in the oven. Now, we're going to save some of this bacon fat to use in our sauce. We're going to start the sauce, nice thick saucepan, pour in the bacon grease. Can you see that, Angie?
Yes.
Mac and cheese isn't a healthy dish at the best of times, but it is comfort food. And it's New Year's, so what the heck? Okay, so there's probably 2 tablespoons of bacon fat in there, maybe a tablespoon. Bacon goes to one side.
Oh.
Okay, we have about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in there. We're going to add to that a tablespoon of butter. Wait till it's sizzling, but not smoking. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of flour. And just stir that in. A bit more flour. And we're going to stir this in until we get a little paste. A bit more flour. We are making a roux. A roux is the basis for most of your sauces. And the flour is what thickens it, and the butter and the bacon grease are what flavor it. Now, in the absence of your bacon grease, if you're not using bacon, just use some butter. And this would have been maybe a quarter of a cup of flour, perhaps in total. Once it looks like this, once it looks like that, we're ready to go and add some milk. Okay, take it off the heat, turn your heat down a little bit. We're going to add a little tiny bit of milk, just a couple of teaspoons. Now you will see that this now forms like a ball of dough in your saucepan. That's what it's meant to do, okay? We're going to gradually thin this with the milk. You don't want to put it all in together because it will break apart. That's what you have, like a dough in there, all right? So gradually add your milk, a little at a time, and you've got to now mix this in. But mix it in thoroughly. A little bit of heat to warm the milk. You'll see it continues to just grow in volume, but still like dough. Bit more milk. As you add the milk, you can add gradually more milk than the time before, because as you do it, you're going to then mix it into this doughy mixture, and we're going to gradually thin this back out again as we add the milk. Keep mixing it till it's fully incorporated. Now you're cooking. I'd say now you're cooking on gas, but we have electric here in Florida. About a cup of milk that time. Back on the heat. This should be fun and not hard work. If you're doing it for your friends or your family, they're going to love you. People love it when you make fresh home-cooked food for them. It's so much more inviting than making it from the freezer. And certainly more fun, generally more cost-effective, and it's definitely more satisfying. If you're not a cook, I hope these are fairly easy for you to follow, because you can do some stuff which may appear difficult, it really isn't. We're going to be adding that cheese to this shortly, so we're going to add a bit more milk, because we don't want this to be too thick with the cheese sauce, and the cheese is going to thicken up quite a lot. my favorite ingredient, the Coleman's mustard. You don't have to use the Coleman's. You can get it in most good stores on the mustard aisle, or in some cases it's with the international foods. You'll find it with the pickled onions and the English chocolate. Anyway, I use the powdered form. You can get it more readily pre-mixed in a regular mustard jar. You'll want to add about maybe 2 teaspoons of the pre-mixed mustard, maybe a little less if you don't like the spice. This gives a nice gentle heat. It's not overwhelming, tastes fantastic. I'm going to add a little over 2 teaspoons of the powder and then just mix that in. Next ingredient, another favorite, Worcestershire sauce. Not what's this here sauce or Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. A couple of dollops of that. And then cayenne pepper, a little pinch. It adds just another layer of flavor. But again, you won't be able to tell what's in there when you eat it. You'll just know it tastes great. Back on the heat. So we've now got our basic sauce here. We're going to add in the cheese now, all together. All that lovely mixture of cheese. Make it cheesy. Don't skimp on the cheese. Now, this will melt into that sauce and make a lovely, lovely, thick, cheesy sauce. If it's a bit too thick when we're done melting the cheese in, we'll add a bit more milk. This is a bit thick, so we're going to add some more milk in, put some more heat back on. That's about how we want it. Now we're going to add the bacon. Can you see this stuff? What? The best bit, bacon. So get your big knife, don't burn yourself on your hot bacon. I'm just going to chop it coarsely so you get big nice chunks of bacon in the mac and cheese. Let me see. Oh yeah.
I want a piece.
What?
I want a piece. Gilbert wants a piece.
Gilbert wants a piece. Oh, Gilbert! Want a bit of bacon? You want this bit? Yeah. Okay, I did wash my hands after feeding the dog, but it's my dog, so it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, there's your bacon. We're gonna pop that in the cheese sauce. Okay, Ange, come around here. Gilbert, there's no more for you. Straight in the cheese sauce. Stir that in. And now we're gonna add that to the macaroni and pop it in the oven. Gilbert, I said no more, go on. Cheese sauce, macaroni. In we go. Give it a nice stir. You can't smell that, but how's that smell, Ange?
Great.
Mm-hmm. Angie is my camera person today. You might have noticed that the height of the camera was up here, then it was down here, because Angie's not very tall, so she had a step stool earlier on. Okay, now in the oven. 400 degrees. About 20 or 30 minutes. Every oven's a bit different now. Wait till that's nice and bubbly and crispy on the top. While that's happening, we're going to go back to our special topping. From my garden, a few leaves of basil. We're just going to quickly chop those up. Taking care not to lose a finger. Remember that bacon we had left over? Chop this up. We're just going to melt about a tablespoon of butter in a small frying pan here. If you haven't got a small one, guess what? Use a large one. This is the chopped up bacon. It's going to go straight into our hot butter. We're going to just quickly fry this up. There's our breadcrumbs, our chopped up fresh basil, some salt and pepper. Straight in there with the bacon. Give it a quick fry up. This will be a topping for our mac and cheese. Once this takes on a nice golden brown, like that, kill the heat. That's your topping. Half an hour has gone by. Oh, that is sizzling away. That's how it ought to look. Nice and toasty on the top. Sprinkle on this topping. Bacon, breadcrumbs, fresh herbs, salt and pepper. Now tell me, how does that look? Ange, how does it smell?
Delicious.
Wanna try it? Here's my camera person. Okay, a little bit of side salad, some tomatoes, some lettuce. Can't be anything wrong with that. You've got to make it some healthy food. Let's see how this tastes. Oh. That is the best mac and cheese you ever had. Your friends, family, are gonna love that. So with that, Happy New Year. See you 2020. Here we go, 2021. We'll see you next time on Motorsport Gourmet. And also, a big thanks to my great friend Charlotte for recommending we do this fabulous dish. And don't forget, if you're looking for an English or specialty sports car, wirewheel.com. Ask for Charlotte. She'll take great care of you. See the link there below somewhere.